Also, I do apologise if my Misaki isn't like great. I've had this course once. This is brand new. Unfortunately, I am on the launch shift of the area, and it snaps. Unfortunately, so that's kind of on my part. But I will be finding ways to like redo Misaki in a way. So I do have like a black dress to go with this outfit. So she will be back in full force eventually. But you might see me as Usui more, if you get what I mean. Hi everybody, welcome to my Maid Summer special. This is to do with the series of Kachiwa Maid Summer as a whole. So Kachiwa Maid Summer is a Shojo romance anime sort of based around maid cafes. I thought it would be a nice theme to do because it is Maid Day after all, and it is part of my Shojo Sunday special. And we'll be looking at the manga and the anime and just how it's come along pretty much all together. But that's all I want to talk about. We'll do a maid cafe and butler cafe video eventually on this channel when I've got time. So like going into depth and detail about maids and butler cafes, and I feel like anime such as Maid Summer and Toki Mew Mew, they inspire a lot of maid cafe related topics, if you get what I mean. So they're included, and that's why like you can see them within like the otaku / weeb cultures all around if you're really into anime. So there's that. So with Maid Summer, this is going to contain spoilers if you haven't like read the manga or watched the anime, so would recommend you watching that or reading the manga. I would probably read the manga more because it gets more in depth in regards. There's an anime series, but the only downside is it was only one season, and unfortunately, yeah, the one season, we never got another season of it, unfortunately. So this series might be a little bit dated in like parts here and there. It's only because it's from the late 2000s, and like there's a little bit of a dodgy side with Usui, not gonna lie, but he does learn how to behave eventually. He just takes his time with his ladies, mainly Misa, but you get what I'm coming to. You get and you understand where I'm coming from. Pretty much. So we'll talk about Maid Summer. So the anime series itself is about Aizawa, also known as Misaki. So Misaki Aizawa. She is a club president for her high school. So she's like the main club president. She is really bossy, really tsundere, very relatable character to me. So she just likes bossing people about, and she gives like very strong like Aries energy, but I don't think she is an Aries, if that makes sense. But she is like a leader. Can be tough, but she can fight back, sort of in a way. So that's Misaki's like main sort of like story, but there is a twist. The twist is she works at a maid cafe, and the maid cafe is called Maid Latte. There are another two girls that also help out within or I think they're like similar ages to Misaki. So Misaki is around about, I think she's around 16, 17-ish. so like fairly young to like start work, if that makes sense. And she really enjoys like her like part-time job. At home, she is, she lives kind of like in a poorer area, and I want to say she's got a younger sister, she's got a mum. I don't know where her dad went. I think her dad went missing, or he like never came back, or something like on the lines of that. We never found out about her dad, really. There's a guy in her school. There's a bit of a troublemaker. He's obviously a bit of a troublemaker, a little bit of a ladies' man, kind of a bit of a flirt here and there with Misa sometimes. He's called Usui. He's called Usui. He looks like Usui looks really familiar to me, and this is I'm sorry. This is just the Halia fan in me, but he looks like him. I'm so sorry. You see, I do have fun making these Shojo Sundays, I swear. But when I looked at him, I was like, you look familiar. But he's got like really thin eyebrows. But Usui is a little bit of a troublemaker. He's also kind of iconic, not gonna lie. There is an ending scene. I still remember this from this day. Sorry, let me just adjust my wig. But with Usui being the main male protagonist, this lives in my head rent-free. I can't really show the video compilation, but I will link it in the description below. But the ending to Maid Summer is so iconic that, oh my goodness. So the Maid Cafe Summer ending, it just lives in my head rent-free. I was young when I first discovered this, and not gonna lie, it kind of just stuck in my head for a very long time now, and it's just him being a noob, but he's kind of handsome. He's kind of a handsome guy at the time. He was one of my teenage crushes. Alongside Quiche from Tokyo Mew Mew, but we ain't talking about Quiche for this video. I'm gonna save Quiche for another video, but you'll know what I'm on about if you're like into shoujo, anime, romance, because Quiche, my guy, the little alien guy. I'll talk about him later. Yeah, the ending of every episode of the Maid Summer anime is just Usui, Usui being hot. Usui being hot. I think he was like one of the top 10 anime crushes in Japan at the time when this series came out. I remember it. He was like the top male of his time. Also, in the dub, he's voiced by Todoroki. He's got the same English V8 as Todoroki. The reason why I knew about that is through AnimeCon, because I saw him on a table, but his queue was like really big. So I was like, I want to see him because of Usui, but I never got the chance to see him because the queue was massive. But if he ever comes to the UK again, I hands down want to see him because of Usui reasons, but you know what I mean. There are also some moments that I remember fondly of this series. Ones that just kind of stick in my head rent-free, and just ones I just remember. There is a cursed yaoi scene with Yukimura. I am so sorry. So he ends up it's like a butler event in the school. I think it's like a butler or like a festival event from what I remember. And Usui, the guy that hears, kisses Yukimura. And I thought, hey, Usui, are you bi? No, Usui, are you gonna come out with the bi allegations, Usui? But I think it just kind of did it for a joke, in a way. But I just remember it being cursed and being like on Tumblr for a long time. But Usui kissing Yukimura just kind of lives in my head rent free. I'm sorry. Also, the volleyball episode. The volleyball episode is iconic. So the volleyball episode is a really good episode, and it like goes into like Misa's and Usui's relationship a bit more. I also remember Usui and Misaki's first kiss scene. So the first kiss scene is very, very memorable for me growing up, and I was like, oh my god, they kissed. So there's that. It's going back to like the first like sort of like episode of the anime. So she gets into trouble with like there's like a trio of like these rough guys. I can't remember the names for the life of me, but they were like, you know how you have like your typical like jock sort of boys in school? So they were like those. They were like trying to like picking on Misa because they were like wanted to know like she looks familiar and stuff. And Usui was like, Usui just slapped this guy, and he says, "You can't touch her because you're too damn cute," or something along the lines of that. It's like that, you know, that's Usui. You know, the main plot of Maid Summer is Usui has to keep Misaki's part-time job a bit of a secret because she doesn't want to get into trouble with the school, stuff like that. I also remember Usui speaking English, like British English, in the sub. So that's another iconic scene. And I also remember Usui's family. There's something I gotta tell you about Usui's family. They're all him! All of them are him! I tell you this till this day. All of Usui's family are him. So yeah, it's a typical like high school romance, but there's also like a part-time job involved, if that makes sense. So like, do not tell the secret at school, otherwise I'll get into trouble. So that's really the plot of Maid Summer, really. Now in the manga, they do graduate high school. They do end up going to university at some stage, and they do end up getting married and like together, and I think they end up having 2 kids, from what I remember. I think they end up having 2 kids. I think one. I don't know. I can't remember whether they had 2 boys or something along the lines of a boy and a girl. But that's just a mystery that I don't really remember. But you get what I mean. The wedding scenes from the manga, they are beautiful. Would look at the wedding scenes from the series again, because it is great. These have been in my collection for a while now. I think I remember picking this up at MCM London Con a few years back. So this is from MCM London Con. So I've always kept Maid Summer. So there's a lot that hasn't even been added in the anime series properly. There's also questionable scenes. Yeah. I vaguely remember the Alice in Wonderland bit, but I don't remember it in the anime. I don't know whether that was like manga exclusive or anything like that. But she obviously recognises him from work and stuff. The artwork though is really nice. Like, it's really pretty. Sort of like, you know how I said the Apothecary Diaries artwork's really pretty? So it's Maid Summer's, so it's like very, very pretty. What's that? This is book 2. I think this is Yukimura, I think. I could be wrong though. But I think there's like wait, memories keep coming back to me. There is a scene where the boy characters end up dressing as maids. I'm starting to remember things now that I actually think about it. But that was also an iconic scene. This is the beach scene. Wait. This is the beach scene. Look. It's a bit naughty, but you get what I mean. Yeah. Also, this is also another iconic, memorable scene from the anime that I remember animated. Because he was like, I think he had a toothbrush in his mouth or something like that. I think it is a toothbrush. But it was just like hanging from the mouth, and he was just like, I'm really, really tired. But yeah. Oh, volleyball. Volleyball mentioned. I don't think this was animated. There is a lot that they didn't animate. Looking back on the series. Oh yeah, this is the Troublesome Trio. Little guys, by the way. And then, obviously, other bits in between. And I also remember Misaki having a cold, and I think Usui had to look after Misaki for a little bit as well. I also remember that. Some final thoughts about the series overall. It's a really good series to get into if you are beginning your shoujo journey. I would rate it a 7 out of 10 because it is really good. The writing for the whole story is really good. And Usui, bless his little heart, he just kind of just takes it for me. If you are a Maid Cafe fan, I would recommend this series. It is a lot of fun. It can be funny in places. It's more of a rom-com in a way, mainly because of this guy. If you get what I mean. So he's like your typical, like, I know he's like the main male interest, but he is funny. He can be funny. I know it shows and introduces the world of maid cafes and in a romance anime sort of setting. This and Tokyo Mew Mew are really good at like representing like the maid cafe sort of roles, if that makes sense. So season 2, I don't think it's gonna happen. I know it's been rumoured here and there for season 2, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I think it had the exact same treatment as Ouran High School Host Club, if that makes sense. So Maid Summer and Ouran High School Host Club have only ever had like the one season, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think it didn't get a second season due to ratings and stuff, but it's a great series to start with. But it's like a maid cafe based shoujo romance, if that makes sense. That's all I really got to talk about for Maid Summer so far. I just kind of did it in like a quick summary of like what it is, what it's about, what happens, etc. Like what do I remember from the series, that kind of thing. I really enjoy Midsummer as a series, as a season as a whole. It does deserve better in like some circumstances, but that's just me. that's just me. But it needs more love out there, so I'm gonna save this series, and it belongs to be saved. Now, my next Shojo Sunday isn't really a Shojo Sunday. It's mainly because it's Pride Month, and last year I mainly talked about LGBTQ series recommendations. I think for this Pride Sunday coming up, we're going to be looking at an old yaoi series that I used to watch when I was young. Have you ever heard of Sakaichi Hatsukoi? Is that? And we might be looking into Junjo Romantica because it's made by the same creator, so we'll be looking into that. Might react to a few episodes, maybe, but like little clips. I'll see what I can do, but Takano is coming out for that, so look forward to that. And that is my Shoujo Sunday over and done with. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you get an insight into maid cafes. I will be doing like a maid cafe related video later on. Not really sure when, but I'll let you know.